Game number 1 in the semifinal, and guys, this is going to decide which of these two teams will advance to play at GamesCom, the European Regional Final number 2. TeamLiquid is currently going up against the CrowingChickens, and the first map is a battlefield. Is Cursed Hollow. Second one is going to be Battlefield of Eternity. There you go. But yeah, this is of course the first qualifier. We have 3 qualifiers overall. 2 teams have already been invited, My Insanity and Dignitas. Currently for today's match, we also have still the ban on a hero, and it's of course Khaldor, since he's a bit too new. In official Blizzard tournaments, new heroes are always banned for 2 weeks. But right now, we're actually seeing Liquid going up against CrowingChickens. And the Chickens have already had a couple of roster swaps. So the new Chicken team is, by the way, a mix between T89 and the CrowingChickens. So we currently have a setup in which we are seeing, for example, Luna and Sphyxy, they left. They went to Team Google, the Russian team. You already saw that a bit earlier today. We have now Grand Paquette and Zarmany playing with the Chickens, which is actually going to be pretty fun to observe. But right now, we have, of course, the draft starting. So we're going to talk about the players in just a moment when we're actually in the game. For now, Khaldor is being banned by the Chickens here in Cursed Hollow. Liquid now with a potential ban on Greymane, or they're going on a ban on Falstead. I didn't really expect them to go for a ban on Abathur, but it's a smart move, because right now what they did, I really like what Liquid did right now. This is actually very, very cool. With them banning... Oh, this is awesome, guys. This is brilliant. With them banning Abathur, what they basically said is, we are going to get either Falstead or we're going to get Greymane. Either the Chickens are saying, okay, without Abathur, we don't really want to have Greymane, because for us it's always so pivotal to actually get Greymane plus Abathur to get the copy. So they already take... And even if the Chickens take Greymane, which they did, they take away from the strength of Greymane by simply eliminating Abathur as an early option for the Chickens, since they also know that the CrowingChickens have always gone for Greymane and Abathur if they got the chance. So first of all, they secure themselves either Falstead or Greymane, and if Greymane is not taken, they at least also take away a bit from the strength that the Chickens usually push on him. So that Abathur ban was absolutely ingenious. It allowed them to go for Falstead. So they have a good pick here still. They get the ETC with that too. And now we are seeing the Chickens going for Tassadar Li Ming right now. So overall, the drafting already very early in the game with some really nice twists here. I'm liking a lot what we're seeing. The bans are now coming in. And Tassadar as a solo support is a bit unlikely here. I don't really think it's going to happen in this particular setup that's being played right now. So TeamLiquid is kind of likely to ban either a frontliner or a support hero. If they plan to go into, let's say, an Arthas, for example, they could decide on simply banning out Muradin. They could ban a Muradin, they could ban a tank, they could ban either Muradin, or they could just simply go for a ban on a support. And they actually ban Brightwing here. Not 100% certain. Like, these teams already scrimmed against each other as well. So that's definitely a bit of a counter ban here as well. As are the Vikings, of course. Liquid with the Nuburak. Brightwing, of course, is one of the few heroes that could really provide the counter soak against Falstead. Not quite to the same extent, since you can't fly to an empty lane or like teleport to an empty lane. But it's still very powerful to have that global soak here on the map. So that's one of the things that they already did here. Liquid goes into Rhaegar, which is making it a bit more likely that we're going to see a Charism for the CrowingChickens. Now they switch it over and go for a Charism instead. Okay, so that puts us into a Rhaegar, most likely as the option for the Chickens. And something along the lines of maybe like a Rhaegar and Muradin would probably be sweet. I'm still thinking Tyrael here a bit. Tyrael as a solo frontliner is alright if you have a double support behind you. Greymane, I mean, ideally you want to have someone else, like, I don't know, throw in a Thrall, throw in a Sonya, throw in some other hero that can really assist Tyrael a little bit. But if you have a double support behind you, they can still keep that alive. But with ETC and Nuburak, the question is if they might not just simply play Tassadar solo after all and go for a double front line, play something along the lines of, I don't know, Arthas plus X, Muradin, or even throw in that Tyrael after all. But they decide against it, and they go into the double support after all, with the Rhaegar and Tassadar taken, and the Muradin at the front. So the Chickens with a bit of a more aggressive setup, thanks to the AoE that they have. There's a ton of interrupts that they're also running here. But the more traditional lineup for TeamLiquid, and now of course they have to decide what's going to be their last pick here, and it is going to be their Sylvanas again. So Sylvanas once more with the silence, and that is quite powerful. Greymane has to be careful when he jumps in. They switch it over Zagara, which would also be a good pick, but they have to be super careful that Greymane cannot more or less insta-kill her. Especially with Li Ming already providing a sample of poke damage. If Zagara is low, Greymane is not going to let that slide. That's the one risk factor that you have when you're playing with a Zagara here right now. Zagara overall is great, of course, but when you go up against Greymane, and in addition with Li Ming, then you have to be careful. And the thing about Greymane is that he has actually an enormously high hit point pool. And if then, on top of that, he has the Shield of Tacita, gets the Rhaegar heal, he can jump your backline and he can go completely nuts there. So that's one of those things why Zagara is always a bit iffy. We've seen that earlier in some of the games, how fast she can be blown away. But I mean, we're going to find out if maybe they have enough to really put Greymane down, because that's going to be the hero where most of the damage potential of CC really hinges on. Li Ming is also great for the poke, but she's also up against the Nubarak, who with the Beatles is going to obstruct a lot of these shots, actually. So yeah, game number 1 is this. The stage is set, guys. TeamLiquid versus the CrowingChickens, the semi-final at the first regional final for the fall season for Gamescom. Let's jump right into it and see which team is going to make it here. Game number 1 in the semi-final. To the left side, it is the CrowingChickens, and you can see that they merge. They merge with T89, so it's basically like players from 2 teams that have joined forces. We have Mopsy on Meridian at the front line, Gran Paquete on Rhaegar, Celia on Tacita, Zamani on Greymane, and Zelia is playing Li Ming. And to the right side of the map currently, we have TeamLiquid with Chris on Falstad, Sport Billy on Thagara, Gad Amherd on Karazim, a Thero Angel on ETC, and a Shat on a Nubarak. So guys, this is going to be awesome. I really think this could be a close one. And for now, we'll have, again, on level 1, Volatile Asset taken. TeamLiquid is playing Zagara again, and they decide to play the same build that we've already seen in the last game. Down to the bottom of the map, on the other hand, Shat, Gad, and Sport Billy, they want to put in the pressure. And Zamani is staying there, and he's basically just like, ah, screw that. I can't handle it. Too much pressure. And, well, he's not wrong, because, well, with that heavy engage down to the bot lane and such a commitment, it looks very much like the first tower is already about to fall before the game even starts. Sport Billy is still poking a little bit. Is just saying, like, one more baneling? He needs one more? And they're already trying to bait Zamani a bit. So, it's basically just a lot of baiting going on right now. Fine, like, come on, like, take that tower down. It's an auto attack. I mean, Sport Billy, please. There's the kill against Zamani, though. They were really waiting for it, and now they're going to get even more than that. So they go for the first tower, they go for the second, and that is not how you are trying to open up the game if you're playing on the CrowingChickens. So yeah, they are currently in trouble in the mid lane as well. As Celium is already stunned out once, pushed back, and he's going to be stunned in a second. Gets the shield up though, and Ethereal is sliding away. Didn't even try to go for the stun slide since he already realized it wouldn't really make a difference. At the top lane though, counter pressure is happening. I mean, the chickens are not simply sitting there and taking it, right? So they are currently just trying to push through the top lane themselves. Mopsio, Zelia, and Gran Paqueta are there, and they're doing their thing. So both of these teams with the aggression. And Zelia, look at that. Sneaky as he is, he's trying to go for the fountain, even from the side here, and gets the pressure in. So the fountain is down, and the teams are just basically going for the aggression right now. And they're saying, like, boys, let's just destroy a few structures. TeamLiquid is fast, as you can see at the bot lane. They hit an earlier level 4 on top of that too. So they will be able to take the fort. But we have now Static Shield taken on, well, Falstad, and that basically puts us back into that explanation that I had earlier. If you go for Falstad for the hammer gains normally, or you go for updraft because you want to position yourself like Hazops for a good Mighty Gust, that's all fine and Gucci. But if you actually go up against the Greymane, then having a Static Shield is a pretty decent idea. Melee assassins in general, if you go up against one of them, that's a pretty good move. Athero, on the other hand, he made a pretty bad move. He decided to go the wrong way, and Zelia, Gran Paquete, and Mopsio already punished him hard for that. They didn't really go through the fort up at the top just yet, but they are working at it. So we have now 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the game. First curse is going to happen very soon. None of the teams went for the Siege Giants here. This is a very different one that they are currently going for. And we have Medusa Blades now taken, so even more pushing power, of course. Eyes in the Dark on Greymane. Bot lane, Greymane, by the way, is just like very careful. He already got owned once, and Zamani doesn't really want to chicken out in any of these big fights. So he's like trying to wait until the fight is actually happening so that he can join the fun. And that's what he's currently attempting to do. And the fun is there, as we have that tribute on the map. Fawcett is still up at the top. The teams are already going for it. And there's Gran Paquete going for the channel. But we have, again, Roaches in play. Shat is low, though. He's really low. And Ethereal Angel has also be a bit careful as Fawcett flies in. Chris is there. They're attempting to go for Mopsio, but the shield of Celium in place. Mopsio jumps in. Chris moves out immediately. He says, like, nope, thanks for that. And there we go again. First tribute in the hands of the chickens. Uh-oh, but again, oh, always on the wolf. This is the kill against the Greymane. They basically hate that guy. And Zaman is just sitting there and like he has a sad face on right now. It feels bad, man, because this is the second time that he gets taken down. And that leads to a talent lead for TeamLiquid. So basically Zaman is just saying like, why me? What's up with all that hate, bro? So we are seeing Boomerang again. We have the Bile drop, which was already claimed earlier. Teams are starting to focus on the Siege Giants a little bit more. And we're having the Shed Exoskeleton now to loudspeakers and also the Cleanse. Besides that, up to the top or mid lane, still like the tanks fighting. Experience lead for TeamLiquid is actually pretty decent at this point because they were able to get the extra soak out of Falstad too, which definitely helped. And that fort at the top lane is still alive. But this is now level 7, and now we have Karla's Embrace. And once that kicks in, you really have a solid lead because, oh well, you have a huge power spike, let's put it like that. Just because you're in a position where you can finally do a lot of pre-shielding, and that's kind of what you have to. This is where Tacita oftentimes turns into a bit of a Cupid. Falstad at the top lane is also taken down together with a fort here, so the bird got plucked. Chris apparently surprised by that aggression, and now with him dying, with the fort also falling, that tribute at the bot lane is anyone's to take if they can interrupt once again, and they cannot. They won't be able to interrupt, and so even with Falstad dead, they are able to claim a tribute. So tribute for a tribute right now. One more interrupt is all that they would have needed to make sure that the rest of the team can join in with them. But they got the value at the top lane, and that is totally worth it. So, yeah, we have Zelia and Mopsio already in position here. And, yeah, they de-push the camp first of all. Oh, Mopsio, he wanted to go for the stun. I was wondering if he starts to jump in. But Gad with the dash. We have also Falstad up at the top lane, de-pushing the camp first of all, and starting to work towards level 10 a little bit. Didn't really work out so far, but he's getting the extra experience for his team, and they're getting closer to it. And this is the moment where, with the tribute spawning at the top lane, the chickens have to decide how they're going to play this. Are they going to try and go for 10 themselves? Are they going to give up the tribute, or what are they going to do? Zoning is apparently the first idea here. Mopsio is already zoning the rest of the team. He's buying time. He's buying a ton of time. And Falstad won't be there in time to interrupt it. Gran Paquete, this is really cool. Really nice positioning on the side of the CrowingChickens. They stopped the opponent early, right here, didn't allow them to go through the choke point. Falstad couldn't go in by himself because he was just a little bit too far out from the rest of the team, so there was just no way for him to be safe in this case. Level 10 abilities with the 7-sided strike, still experience being leashed at the bot lane, where Celium is starting to be in an awkward spot because Shad body blocks him 6 days to Sunday. What? Shad with the no way! Shad with the body blocks, and he is going in for the kill. Ethereal Angel, there's the dimensional shift. He's trying to escape. Celium is just like buying time right now. Yep, there's the stun, gets another shield for himself, and that's the end of Tacita. Wow. Well done. But the fight is still raging at the top, and the boss is taken by the blue team. That was a nice trade. They get a boss for the kill against Tacita at the bot lane. 7-sided to the face, but this time Zarmony gets away. There's a tribute. That could be Curse. I doubt that they're going to be able to take this one, but as long as they don't die here, they are going to be alright. And yes, 10 versus 10. The boss, by the way, already going through the lane. Chris has to de-push that. That's going to go for the keep. And Tacita is back. He's making his way over and just now. And with Zelia, they have a tool that they can use to simply interrupt those tributes over and over again. Falstad, as mentioned, isn't really here. There comes Greymane. Zarmony is trying to pay them back for the earlier humiliation, where he died twice. But now he's trying to see what he can do maybe against Falstad. Can he jump Falstad or Zagara? He has already the force wall, and that forces Mopsio to jump out. But that fight is still going strong, and the boss is already there. Uh-oh, there's the interrupt, and the heal on Zarmony gets the kill against Falstad, and the kill against also Zagara. He's trying to kill them all. The wolf is on the prowl, and he is taking no prisoners. Killing 3, able to survive. Oh my god, Celia, you boss, you sneaky bastard, going in and getting that orb in, and they are trying. No way, it's a team wipe. They get the team wipe, they get the curse, the boss went through the wall, the chickens are on fire right now. This is, I mean, this is juicy play right there. They start to go for the keep and they take it. They can't just back off now. 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the game and they get it done. And guys, it all started with Grand Paquette like a boss, dropping that last moment Ancestral on Zarmini. They tried to explode on Zarmini, they tried to take him. Grand Paquette says, not on my watch. Drops the Ancestral and all of a sudden the Wolf goes ham. Goes in, takes Falstad down, jumps straight onto Zagara, takes her out as well. What a brilliant play here. What a great coordination, and boy did that hurt. 7 kills against 3, and now we're seeing 13 talents versus level 10 talents. Another boss taken at the bot lane, and that curse still doing some work for another 8 seconds, but this boss of course is also going to do the bot lane pressure play. I mean, right now this is a fantastic situation for the chickens. They are in such a great spot right now. This is looking really, really strong. You're currently seeing Zelia and Celium at the bot lane here, preparing for the boss. They go through the Siege Giants. The talent isn't there for TeamLiquid yet, so they don't really know how to actually play this at this point. They're trying to go for the talent with Falstad at the top. They're playing it very passive right now. And it's actually not a bad decision to do that. They need to play it passive. But the problem is they need 13 and they need Falstad at the bot lane too, because that boss is starting to do work. And there we go. The first tower is already down. They're starting to go through the gate and going for tower number 2 now. Falstad still not on his way. He's starting to fly in finally. There's the 13 talent at least, and that's about time. We already have now the bed of barbs taken, but the boss is going through the structures and they back off. They know that they still have the lead here. They know there's no immediate risk and they can just simply start to go straight up to the top. Go maybe through a few of the structures in the mid lane as well. But oh my boy, like these plays, seriously. That fight at the top lane. And Zelia, that one Liming orb that simply hit both of the tanks as they were trying to escape. Oh my god. So okay, let's just recap this for a moment. We have right now 7 kills against 3. We're seeing the top lane heavily pushed thanks to the catapult. So of course in the patch got a pretty big buff. They will lock onto structures now and take them down no matter what spawns around them. And that is already brilliant, especially since they have an increased range as well. And at the same time now, the chickens, they know they have to just play this discipline. Like, they have such a massive advantage. If they play this with a lot of discipline, it's very difficult for TeamLiquid to come back. The best way for TeamLiquid to win this game right now is for the chickens to screw up. That's basically how it works, and they know that too. And they play it, at least for now, they play it safe. Zelia with 20,000 damage we have in terms of kills, as I said, 7 versus 3. Damage output of Zagara is currently at 24,000. Muradin attacked at the front, 7-sided strike, they all move in. There's the Maw against 3, it's a strong one. Can they capitalize on it? And Mosh Pit attempt interrupted. Celium is moving away, he's already devastated. Mobstio's about to die, it's a triple kill. TeamLiquid is back, TeamLiquid is back, and they're not done yet. They want to go for Zelia. Zelia is actually rushing away, and it seems like he's going to escape. Grand Paquette also on the move back. The Maw, and then immediately afterwards we see the Mosh Pit. It gets interrupted eventually, but still already too much damage dished out. 7 kills against 6, and the experience is dead even. Zagara with a tribute, taking it down to the bottom. 2 tributes now for the red team, 0 for the blue at this point, and we still see the pressure at the top lane. Falstad had to fly over to take it away, but now the boss is up once again, and the heroes are still dead on the side of the CrowingChickens. This game is not over yet. They're starting to move in once again, and here's Grand Paquette. He sees what's happening. He sees Zelia. They're starting to go for it. They're starting to move in, but they cannot really deny it. They know that it's already too late, and this is TeamLiquid trying to turn the game around. TeamLiquid trying to get the pressure. They move into the middle instead, but I doubt they have the time to take the fort down. I really doubt that they have enough time for it just yet. The boss at the bot lane, on the other hand, is going to spawn in another 2 minutes. So you can even move up to the top and defend there. But the fight is already starting once again as Mopsio is being attacked and 7-sided. But here comes the heal, or does it? Ancestral is late. Ancestral is way too late. Grand Paquette, what was that? Grand Paquette with a... Like, that was... What? Okay, that was really surprising. Once the fight started, I looked at the Ancestral and I saw, okay, no cooldown, he can use that whenever. And then he had the perfect moment, but he used it way too late and Muradin dies. Mistake by the support player of the chickens, and therefore Muradin not ready. Now keep in mind, Grandpa actually in the past a player that always waits with his ults until he really needs to use them. And oftentimes that resulted in him not having to burn his cooldown and therefore just helping out the team in the next team fight. This time he miscalculated a bit though. He used it too late, Murden died, but he's back now. But that of course cost them also presence on the map, and that translates into a curse now, since that tribute could not be fought over. So that's a problem right now. But the boss is still there. They're going to defend against it. Can they keep the keep safe though? That's the main question. 16 versus 16 talents right now. Fawcett is now flying and he's slowly starting to get to it. Aethero Angel has everything he needs. 7-sided strike once again being used. There's the Maw. They're going to go immediately for the mosh pit. Aethero Angel with the mosh pit. The kills are not there. Ancestral this time is ready. Mopsio. Can he jump out? He jumps out. Li Ming is down though. Li Ming is dead. Zarmany is still alive. The wall is decent. It's actually perfect right now, keeping them alive for a bit longer, but the keep might still fall here. Zarmany has to back off. Mopsio is back to business. Nobody died to the mosh pit, but we had the kill against Celia in the back. Once again, they're starting to jump in. Mopsio is getting exploded upon. He's trying to get away here. Jumps out with the Dwarf Toss. They're going in once again, but they're only 4 versus 5, and Aethero Angel is getting a bit lower, but is still able to escape. And at the bot lane, the waves are going strong against the keep itself. If the second keep falls, then that's of course a very different story. But TeamLiquid heavily relying right now on that combo that they're using. They're going for the Maw, they hit 2-3 people, they gust the rest away, and then they're immediately ready again to use that mosh pit. It's basically a triple ult combo that they're using at this point, and it's working out well for them. It's the second kill or the second combo kills that they already got, and it worked quite nicely in their favor. They were behind after that move at the top lane where the boss was taken by the chickens and they were taken out. They were far behind, but right now it's 17 versus 19, and the perfect call, go for the boss on the side of TeamLiquid, that is, because they know that the chickens are going to be desperate. And desperate chickens are always a bit scary as well, though. Once more, both of the teams are looking for an opportunity here. The cooldowns are still there for the rogue abilities. Keep that in mind. Rhaegar, on the other hand, doesn't have the Ancestral yet either. Celium is low, moves away. The boss is about to fall. There is no move. There's the Maw. The boss is not taken. No, it is. The boss is taken. The Maw was ready. Tassadar is down. Zarmany is kept alive, and he's starting to take down the TeamLiquid players. He goes for Nubarak, and he annihilates him. But he's so low right now that he can't jump on the rest of the team. Again, the damage done. ETC. Mopsio is down, but so is the cow. Zarmany is going in, and Gerd is falling too. They're trying to go onto Chris and Sport Billy, but they can't really make it happen, and the boss at the bot lane is going straight for the core right now. It's gonna move through the core, or trying to go for it, and well, Fawcett and Zagara are the only two that are still alive, but this is a 2 versus 3 right now. 2 versus 3. The support is still there though. They go for the boss, and they won't be able to take down the core here. So they get the kills, they get closer to 20, but it's still the talent advantage on the side of TeamLiquid. TeamLiquid with the 20s now. Transgression. They have the Tyrant Maw as well. It's not only the damage, but it's also that cooldown reduction that is absolutely amazing if you can pull it off properly. So cooldown reduction is there, Hardened Shield, the tour bus on ETC, and that boss fight nearly worked out for them, but it was the Maw that really pushed them away. So at this point, let's see how exactly the chickens are going to play it. Zagara going for Hydra, for the Hydralisk Transfusion, by the way. So goes for the extra heal here, and also for the Corrosive Saliva, using that immediately. So just to give you guys a bit of an idea, the talents still look the same, but of course Zagara has seen a very, very massive rework, and that impacted it quite a bit. If you go for that push style here, the level of 1 to 7 talents are pretty much the same. Volatile Acid, Medusa Blades, and Bile Drop. We've seen that a lot, but especially on 13 and 16. There have been a couple of different talents so far in the past. So first of all, you're going to get the heal here, and then also the minor Hunter Killer or Giant Killers, if you so want, with the Corrosive Saliva here, with the percentage damage. Nah. Really? Alright, they are gonna try and go for core. And there's 3 heroes that are being stopped. Grandpa is the only one who really gets away. They go for the back door, but Mopsio is already there. Transgression is being used. ETC is still stopping Li Ming. Celium has to shield. There's already the Mighty Gus. TeamLiquid, they go for the core, but they lose Zagara. They lose Gerd any moment. I don't think it was a good call. I really think this is going to backfire, but the damage is ready, and Chris is falling. Chris is falling, Shat is falling, and yeah, Shat is like, no way he actually gets away. But at the top, we saw ETC die. ETC died to Xaylia. And guys, you can guess 3 times what that's going to be. That's going to be a core push. Like, what the hell were they thinking? I mean, that wasn't even close. That's 30% right now. And, well, if a Nuburak doesn't make the play of his life, then this is going to be game. And Nuburak actually tries to go for a core attempt himself, but I don't think even with the catapults that's going to be enough damage. That's just never going to happen. There's absolutely no way. So, TeamLiquid decides to throw the game in the end. Like, I'm not quite sure. I really think that wasn't quite necessary on their part, but they try and go for it, and as it turns out, it was the wrong move, even with ETC denying a lot of the move backs. So yeah, this is game, and the chickens are in the lead. Okay guys, game number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. We're a bit late to the draft here, since the players kind of forgot to give us the link. But you can see that we're on Battlefield of Eternity right now, and at this point we have, in terms of like bans, actually a Charism ban. So again, the support play, this time played by the Chickens. They went into Rega themselves and banned out Charism, which leaves Liquid with, of course, a few options, but they could go into an Uther, for example. But we have finally also Sonya back. So the opening in the game was actually that we had on the side of TeamLiquid the first pick, and they decided to go into a Sylvanas, countered by the Chickens going to Murid and Liming. So already a bit of poke presence there for the Chickens. They still have an option to go into additional damage. It might even be something like Lunara if open. But when it comes to like the bans, Greymane this time even taken out. And that was a constant theme throughout all of the bans so far, or all of the drafts so far already, since Greymane is just absolutely insane as a hero right now, and he's also very powerful against the objective, the Immortal itself. So at this point, we're actually seeing Sylvanas comboed with an ETC and an Nuburak. And that is a little bit reminiscent already of the last game that we saw here. Hebrew, thank you very much for the sub. Very appreciated, thank you. Yeah, but ETC and the Nuburak is something that we have actually seen already in the last game. So relying once more on that mosh pit and trying to combat off with the Nuburak for extra stuns. And also, of course, the presence against Liming herself. Xaylia doesn't really seem to be thrown off too much by that. And right now the Chickens are in the lead after a pretty crazy setup by TeamLiquid there. They went for the core. It didn't really work out like intended. 30% left, and then it was just basically a reverse kill. But TeamLiquid decided to go here into a Kel'Thas now, first of all. They still need heal, though, and this is like the big question. Do you go Uther? Then you can theoretically allow the Chickens to go into, let's say, Lunara, Bambi. And if that happens, how are you going to actually deal with it? So they decide to go for something different. They go into a Morales instead. Now, that allows some options to go for certain, I don't want to call it backdoor strategies, but just trying to abuse the mobility of Morales a little bit and just like zip over the map and get maybe a bit more pressure against structures done. But it also makes, of course, plays possible where you could even go into a leap on Sonya. Now, again, I don't think that this is going to happen here. We always mention it since there's like the potential for it to be done, that you jump the backline, you go on Kel'Thas and Morales, or you try to go on Sylvanas. It's a little bit less likely. In this case right now for the Chickens, we could see a Tassadar, we could see maybe even still that Lunara poking up at the front line. There's a couple of ways on how you can play it, and it seems like they are going for the Lunara play. Now, they showed a Vala for a moment, and Vala I could see with the setup too, but she has fallen out of the meta quite a bit. We see her very, very rarely, and I feel that Lunara in this setup is definitely the better setup for them. Good damage, good poke damage, the poke against the Immortal themselves, Lunara, Sonya, and Liming. This is a setup which basically just screams, try and race us and we're going to beat you. If you try to go for Immortal damage against damage, then you're never going to be able to achieve anything here. So Liquid will have to force these fights right now. And they are going up against a setup that is very, very powerful, but at the same time there's also a few squishies in the backline that you can jump with a Nuburak. And we all know how how ETC and Kel'Thas in particular can lock these chain stuns up. Gravity Lapse against 2-3 heroes, ETC at the same time with the power slide. It's crazy. If you get a good flank with these guys, then you are in a perfect spot. And if you go for Cocoon on Anubarak, you can even force the fights. You can like force the opponent to actually fight you. And let's not forget that Sylvanas also has the additional pushing power with the Immortal themselves. So TeamLiquid has a lot of snowball potential here for sure. But the chickens, I mean, Liming, Lunara, Sonya, Rega with Lightning Bond on level 1 maybe. The damage against the Immortal is insane. And if they play it right, they should be able to get a lot of objectives here and take them away from Liquid. One way or another, we might see a third map between these two teams, or we could see a 2-0 victory right now for the CrowingChickens if they win it on Battlefield of Eternity. And to find that out, we're going to jump straight into the next map. Game number 2 has started and we are on Battlefield of Eternity. The Chickens are in the lead against TeamLiquid after a pretty crazy finish on map number 2. And at this point, to the left side of the map, we have the Chickens with Mopsio on Murden, Celium on Lunara, Zarmony on Sonya, Garan Paquete on Rega, also known as Pequeno Paquete, Zelia on Liming. To the right side of the map, we have TeamLiquid, and well, they're playing with Sportbil on the Sylvanas this time. We are also seeing Chris on Kelthas. As you can see, Gedam here is currently playing Morales. And at the same time, we are already in a position with ETC played by Ethereal Angel and Anubarak played by Shed. Teams are already starting to move straight up to the top. And I mean, especially when you're going up against the Sylvanas, we're oftentimes seeing a little bit of spread here, even since you're attempting to see where Sylvanas is going to try and push one of the towers down. That's actually like a very common theme. I mean, overall in this case, it doesn't even happen. But look at the talents that we're, for example, seeing right now. Because that's actually also quite funny. We have the Ether Walk taken on the side of Liming, and that already means that they're going for even more pressure against the Immortal, which is a little bit insane, because if you think about it, they already have so much Immortal pressure here, and they still decide to go for more. So this is going to be a match in which like both teams, especially like the Chickens, are going to try and race the Immortal down as much as they can. A big threat, of course, against them is always the problem that if your opponent wins the race over the Immortal, they are simply going to push through with Sylvanas. So there's a lot of potential for both of the teams to get a bit of snowball power here. But right now, we are seeing Paralysis on Sylvanas, so she's definitely going to try and make these plays that we've been mentioning. We're seeing at the same time, still up at the top lane, Sonya going up against the Anubarak, so still a 1 versus 1 scenario. And as you can see right now, down here to the bottom of the map, we are still having a little bit of action going on as both of the teams are already preparing for their first Immortal here. Mopsio is actually waiting in the brush, making sure that he might get a kill with a good stun lock there. But up at the top lane, there's also the threat against Zarmony. And that already backfired against him a bit when he started to move out in the first game. But as it happens, this time he's safe and he is not falling into that trap that we're seeing here. But the first Immortal is now on the map, and we're seeing the team starting to go straight for the fight, and look at that lockdown. We've been talking about it. So much stun, and Muradin is down. He was tanking all that damage, running right into them. Of course, this is still early on in the game, so he should be back in just a moment and still be able to fight for this Immortal a bit. But this is not the opening that they wanted here. But it shows the potential of Chris with his gravity lapse, of Shad with the stuns, Ethereal also with the power slide, so there's really a lot that they can do. But there's all this damage that we're currently seeing on the side of the Chickens. And they don't even have level 7 yet. I mean, as soon as they have the Nature's Culling on Lunara and also a few additional talents and later on with Calamity, this is going to be pretty brutal when it comes to Immortal fights. For now, it's also starting to put a lot of pressure on Chris, who's getting healed by Gerd. Gerd is already on a move away, but this is TeamLiquid in trouble, and in a lot of that too. This is the kill against Sylvanas, and they're just trying to rush away here. Shad with a stun, Gravity Lapse is there. TeamLiquid trying to turn it around, but not able to make that play happen just yet. Mopsio is zoning. He's even willing to sacrifice himself, but the race has started, and this is a race that the Chickens are going to win easily. Even without the level 7 talent, they should easily win this one. With them running a Sonya and also running Lunara plus Liming, they take the first Immortal. And of course, this is still a weak one in the early stages of the game, but this is still a lot of potential that they have right now to make quite a few sick plays. Level 4 versus level 4 talents, which allows us to go now into the dominance. So apparently Zelia already thinking about all those takedowns that he's going to get there. Would definitely keep him very safe in these situations and allow him to survive a bit longer if he gets those during the fight. That being said, we have on 1, no Trauma Trigger, it's the feedback loop instead. So at this point, it's all about the mana for Gerd. He's really trying to make sure that he can stay in the fight as long as possible. And lane sustain is important. At the top lane, we're seeing Zarmania, the only one to really push with the Immortal through, and they still get the entire wall, which is working for them quite nicely. But the bot lane pressure is also eliminating another tower, and they are starting to put some pressure onto the gate and the second tower too. But as you can see, they have the lead in experience right now. So that split that they just managed here was actually pretty solid. And Ethereal, is he really gonna go for this? It seems like it. Gerd is moving in. Are they gonna give it up? They don't have to just yet, but they will eventually if they are not careful. Nope, TeamLiquid is moving away. This is taken. Mobs are even jumping after them. Bit of a risky move there on both parts, but we already saw the rotation happening. So yeah. This is really a tough game for Liquid right now. They were about to win the last game. They were in a great position taking 2 keeps down, and then they decided to go for that core move that did totally not work out for them. 30% still left, and then the counter-aggression that we saw from the CrowingChickens just finished the game, and that puts Liquid on the back foot. They can't lose here. This is one of the reasons also why they're of course hoping to snowball it with Sylvanas. The question is, can they? They had great synergy in the last game. And the one thing I want to highlight again is that the team that we are seeing on the left side, the blue team, it only exists for roughly, I think, 4 days. Of course, these players know each other. It's not like they played together for the first time, but in that particular setup, it's the first time that they actually like train together. And they actually practiced against TeamLiquid quite a bit. So in this case, they still need synergy. They know that too. Like, after Valencia, especially Grand Paquette and the T89 players, they said, guys, we need to make changes. This is not working out for us. We tried for several events, but we need to be more successful. We need to change something. And we had a similar situation for the chickens here for a bit. And so they decided to just like merge. And right now, this is the attempt of creating a team that can make it happen. And they are totally willing to wait some time for it. I mean, there's qualifiers next week on Wednesday and also on Saturday. But at this point, they're already looking strong. And they didn't really have a whole lot of time together. Again, the kill potential against Mopsio. He's barely surviving. God knows how he didn't die there. Grand Paquette did whatever he could, of course. But now we have ferocious healing for Sonya. Ether Walk, keep that in mind, together with the Calamity for decent damage against the Immortal. Already Sport Billy trying to pressure the one to the right. Everyone else is still defending. They're moving in, and they have the Nature's Culling now too. That's the poke that we've been talking about. They're catering towards the objective with the draft here. And Sonya, of course, with even more damage. They're going for it. The fight is once again happening. Look at how fast this Immortal is losing health. It's crazy. The Immortal is losing health so fast. Sport Billy had to move back because he realized I can't do anything here. Again, Mopsio is low. No ults are available just yet, so Mopsio has to retreat again. But they are able to push the pressure onto the Immortal, and now it's on half health. So now the race is soon about to be started once again. Mopsio had the time to simply move back, heal up again in the Nexus, and now he's moving back in. But of course, pressure by Sport Billy up at the top. He's also going to try and go for the Immortal. Down here, Zarmani is already there. They're starting to rotate again. They need to poke. Ethereal going for Celium. Celium is too far out, and he is down. They might be able to kill Kalthas, and they do. So trade, 1-for-1. Zarmani already spin to win. He's going straight in, trying to take maybe Get down. He has a lot of pressure here with his Sonya. They're turning on Ethereal instead, and the Immortal is still there, and now they're attempting to just drop it fast. But Lunara is not back just yet. She will be soon though, as is Kalthas. But Lunara was too far out there. And immediately Liquid, realizing that they have an opportunity there, jumping on her and taking her apart. Both of the teams really just waiting for opportunities and exploding onto a target to take it down. Once again, Lunara is back. Kalthas on the way right now. The team is heading into level 9 as we speak. And we have the Immortal so low for TeamLiquid. Again, Zarmani is a bit low here. He's looking for a target. Kalthas with all those bombs once more. In comes Mopsio. Mopsio and Gerd. Grand Paquette jumps in, and this is the end of Morales. Morales is down. Shad is falling. And yes, here might be the kill against Lunara, and it is indeed happening. But it looks very much like this Immortal is going to fall into the hands of the chickens once again. Zelia is low, needs to move away. The Immortal is still alive, and Mopsio says, screw it, I'm going to take it. So he goes in, and they're not done yet. Zarmani actually going for Chris, dodging the stun. They turn around again. Chris is dead. He is down. They get the kill, and Lunara is back. The place, level 10, any moment now. Level 10 is going to be ready for this push. It should be. Only the wave, it's all that they need, and there we have it. And, well, may God be with you, because this is gonna hurt TeamLiquid. It's gonna hurt a lot. They can be thankful that this is only the second Immortal, but still, like, we are talking level 10 now at this point. So you can get jumped. And look at Zarmany. Zarmany is taking the long way. He's saying, boys, I got this. They want their kills right now, and they are starting to go in. They want the fort at least, and they're going to get it easily. Now, of course, Anubarak at the top lane is providing his team with extra experience, but this means also it's a 4 versus 5 defense down here. And did I mention that we have Nature's Culling on Celium? Do you know what that does to structures? It just evaporates them. Like, the entire wall is already about to be gone. Aethero is looking for a chance to, yeah, slide in, but they now have level 10. And I mean, like, this is already quite late. Look at Celium just poking away, getting a bit of damage in, and they just move back for now. But again, oh, the dodge, Mopsio, really well done. Grand Paquette not even throwing the Ancestral out because Mopsio has done a great job dodging them. Stormbolt isn't hitting, but they go again for Celium. Zarmany turns around, focuses him a bit. Yeah, TeamLiquid wants to fight right now. They see an opportunity, but very well played here. Great retreat on the side of the Chickens. TeamLiquid, on the other hand, they still haven't lost that keep yet. So they are on level 10. So they have all the chances in the world to actually turn around now if they can force an even fight. And they were close. They were actually very close to make it work. But then like very, very nice dodges on the side of basically all the players here. And it was pretty good coordination that they had there too on the retreat. Could have maybe called a little bit earlier and moved back, but now TeamLiquid is attempting to get finally some value out of Sylvanas. So far, she hasn't really been too helpful yet. But at the top lane, Sonya is getting experience, and here at the bot lane, we have the pressure. It's a siege up by TeamLiquid. Very difficult to get close to Get now. Get is very far in the back, and it's just making sure that everybody's healed up. Sonya is starting to move in, and that's exactly what they have to do right now. So everyone is still waiting around, seeing where especially Zarmany is going to come from, because he's obviously one of the biggest threats at this point. If he goes straight for Chris, for Gad, then they have to deal with that. And if Grand Paquette is ready with the Ancestral, then Sonya can do a lot here. Rather, the Berserker is still brutal. Bit of free damage, but Aethero is already waiting. He's already waiting for a chance. They're looking for an opportunity to turn us around. So far, it hasn't really presented itself, but the experience is starting to become a problem. The Immortal is currently being announced, and wow, Mopsio, that is an aggressive play. Like, I'm not sure about that. They don't have 13 yet. Not sure if they should really fight here without the 13 talent. Mopsio is getting healed. Yes, there's the Ancestral. They're trying to go for the camp. They're going for Shat. Shat is low. Shat is about to fall, but so does Lunara. Lunara is dead, and the heal is keeping Anubarak alive. They get the camp, but they do not get the kill, and they lose Lunara. Now, personally, I think that was a pretty shitty move, because that is high risk, high reward, but like, why? Go top, get 13, and then run the talent advantage. Like, I don't really understand why they really felt the need to fight without the talent advantage here. This is one of those things where you feel you are ahead and then you're trying to push your advantage too much, but you don't actually are as far ahead as you thought you'd be. I mean, don't get me wrong, at least they're getting some value out of the lane push up at the top lane, and they have the level 13 talent now in the end after all. But the Immortal is down to 50% health, and they have to either race or defend right now, and both seem like very shitty options. So, yeah, they kind of have to like defend with 4 and attack with 1 or something like that. But it's a bit of an awkward spot for them at this point. Illusionist is now taken. Celium is hopping away and is trying to put the damage on. We're having Mystical Spear now, Giant Killer, over the unfair advantage of the Spell Shield. And it's a bit of an awkward situation. I think that could have been avoided if not for that one kill and allowing the Immortal to take 50% health. I mean, of course, Celium can do a lot of work here, but if they can win a fight, that would be even better. And they're going for it. They're going deep right now. They want to do it before level 13 is there for the opponent. And Celium has to hop to the left side again and try to make sure that they get the Immortal down. This is very well one that they could lose. They should lose it. Zarmany is already back. They're attempting to race right now. They're just saying, race it, boys. Race it, we're going to lose it, but we're going to get those shields low. That's basically what they're saying right now. And they are getting the shields very low, but they lose it after all. So, definitely a misplay by the Chickens. Too greedy, and they get punished for it. Didn't have 13, didn't have to fight there. As it happens, they did. And if they get the kill against Chat, then it's of course still fine. But Gad with great jobs here, like amazing job by him. Keeping Anubarak alive in this situation was definitely like the winning moment. They could kill also then finally Lunara off with the help of Kalthas. But at this point it's 13 versus 13 with the Immortal pushing the top lane. And that's where we are seeing, you know, first of all, Spell Shield. Uh-oh, down here. Silence is in. Here's the heal. Chris is dead. Kalthas is down, and they are once again going for it. The Immortal is still putting pressure on. Shat is super low. Everybody else, by the way, is also incredibly low on health, especially when we're looking at Celium and Zelia. They need to be super careful that they're not going to get jumped. The fort is forfeit. but they will be able to defend against the Immortal and not going to lose anything at the keep itself here. So, yeah, right now we have 6 kills against 4 and a bit of momentum going for the Chickens. They're starting to move straight through the top, and they will take down this fort if they really want to poke. Well, again, thinking about it, Khaldor is actually on his way back already, so this time they are they're making the safe play here. Basically, like, what the Chickens are currently doing right now is one of the problems that Fnatic had in the past, especially when we're talking Leicester and before, like in the early spring regionals. Fnatic was a team that was incredibly powerful, incredibly strong, but they always went a bit too deep. They always wanted too much. They were lacking the discipline to go back at the crucial moments and just play it safe. And this is actually something that right now is not 100% working for the CrowingChickens either. So they need to be a bit careful with that. I really like the way that they have run this draft so far, and some of the moves that we've seen in both of the games have been absolutely awesome. But when it comes to the overall map decision making, they have a couple of awkward things that they every now and then do. We have talked about it on Cursed Hollow already. A few of the boss moves were a little bit peculiar. But overall, again, I want to highlight that these guys are only playing together in this constellation for a few days now. So you can't really blame them for that. And they are already in the semifinal. They are one map win away from making it to Gamescom. Even if they don't qualify today, they're definitely one of the teams to look out for. Because we have 2 more qualifiers, and they are definitely strong enough to make that happen. But I mean, right now, they are also in the lead here. So this is not like they are in a bad spot or anything like that. So they find themselves in a very good spot, actually. But the Immortal is going to be there very soon. What they need to do right now is try and get level 16. And once that they have that, they can go for the Immortal there. And they are actually very close to 16 right now. And if you think about it, I mean, just look at the Immortal pressure already. There's camps on the map too, and the bot lane camp is also currently pushing very hard. They're going to get their 16. And look at that race! They have so much damage potential there, both of the teams, but it's still a very handy lead with 2,000 extra hit points on the side of the Chickens. And they are doing extremely well now. Both of the teams with a deep push, but right now level 16 is about to drop, and this is really the scary moment for TeamLiquid. This is the moment where they have to be super careful. They're only on the defense. And they won't be able to win when they're trying to defend, because they simply will wait for the opponent to finally get 16, which just happened, and then there's nothing that they can do anymore. They need to know that. So now there's the 16 talents, and I mean, at this point, yes, this is all about the pressure play. Once again, Mopsio is going in. He's going deep at this point. We're having also Celium with the extra poke, trying to get the Immortal down. Just look how low it is already. Mopsio gets healed. Great Ancestry Link. Jumps into the backline. Lunara is already dead. Can they get the counter kill? Can they get the Immortal? They cannot sacrifice all of it. Celia is trying to get the kill here. Sport Billy jumps in, is immediately attacked by the Wolf. Mopsio is getting the Immortal, and now they're starting to move away. For them, it's important that they don't lose the Immortals. Even if they can't capitalize on getting the objective, they cannot allow their opponents to grab it, because that Sylvanas push is just way too powerful. So they have an Immortal, 50% health. Mopsio is trying to juke them a little bit. He's basically just... What? Like, he's screwing them completely. No way. Okay, there's the wave again, and here's the help. Zelia is there. They chased Muradin for so long, and they don't get anything out of it. And you know what that means? That 3 heroes are missing at the defense at the Immortal up at the top. Yep, there's the attempt to get away by Gerd, and yes, that doesn't happen. Down he goes, 16 versus 16. The Immortal up there at the top has currently a field day facing Khaldor's solo, and that is going to be massive damage. And down to the bot lane, the Keep, of course, is going to fall. Mopsio, the master of jukes. I mean, like, he dodged every single stun that was available to them. There's the Mosh Pit on the other hand, but even if Zarmony and Mopsio die, it has been worth it for sure. Yep, Sonya is down. We just need to make sure that they're not going to lose more than that. And they get also, with the Immortal at the top lane, even the entire wall. And damage against the second Keep. I mean, guys, this is getting insanely difficult for TeamLiquid to bring back. Invigorating Spores has been chosen here. Attack speed increase is now also on the table. Even more pressure play. We're seeing Sun King's Fury, Cold Embrace, the combo, of course, with the Lost Soul talent on level 4. When we're talking about Morales, then we are looking currently at the second option. And we have also Epicenter taken, which was quite obvious after Underking was already claimed on level 4. Let's look at the damage output a little bit, and also at the heals, of course. Morales currently with 64,000 heal. Grand Paquette is at 51,000 himself. When it comes to damage, Sylvanas on 43,000 and leaving on 45,000. Lunara still with 32 in a pretty solid spot. And here's again the pressure play. Nice rotation to the bot lane. And TeamLiquid gets value. It's 7 kills against 6. They're trying to pressure these lanes a bit so that they get more pressure out of an potential Immortal. But again, the bot lane is now constantly being pushed by the catapults. And that is going to be a big problem once that the Immortal is up again. Because this map is very characteristic to feature like stalemate fights, where basically 2 teams play a game of chicken and they're going to try and see who's going to chicken out first. And if TeamLiquid is going to fight that for too long, if they play that game, then of course the bot lane is going to be pushed more and more and more. And another problem with the bot lane being the lane where the keeper was eliminated is that this camp is going to push the bot lane. So once this camp is pushing, once that the Immortal is there, and the catapults, it's only a matter of time, and it's not going to be a whole lot of time, where we are going to see the catapults go straight for the core here. And that's when TeamLiquid is going to run out of time. They will have to send someone back, and once that happens, yeah, it's going to be tricky. Mobsio, don't jump in. If you jump in, seriously, I'm going to yell at you. So this time they're not going for it. And let's see how this is going to work out. They can even defend now. They can just like say, like, guys, yeah, the catapults are going to do our job for us. They want to, of course, like deep push the top first. And I mean, they have a very easy time doing that, as you can see. They're just like simply going for the Shaman. That's already down in TeamLiquid. They need to win. They need to win an Immortal. If they lose an Immortal now, the chances of them coming back into this game are incredibly small. So right now, there's a lot of poke. Look at Sport Billy. Sport Billy! Oh, Sonya going in from the side, gets the Ancestral. They're pushing her back. So much damage, but the ETC moshpit. Oh, it's interrupted. Shad is low. He's dead. Grand Paquette is going in. Sport Billy dashes away, dashes in again. Zelia is being stunned the entire time, but Aethero gets stunned by Merida and runs into the Storm Bolt. And with a smiling face, he is getting hammered right into the teeth. This is a disaster for TeamLiquid. Their chickens are going for it. Sport Billy gets stunned. Mobsio is there. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the CrowingChickens with their new team that only exists for 4 or 5 days is going to make it as the first team to qualify for BlizzCon. Chris is dead and Gat is on the run. Gat is dead in the waters. He's not going to make it here. He's, of course, trying to escape, but this is just absolutely wrong. 5 kills already. What a beautiful game by the Chickens. On the first map, TeamLiquid was definitely in the better spot, but right now they are making all the right moves. They have a great draft and they play it perfectly well. They go for the Immortal. They play it safe here. They could have gone for core, but they're saying, like, guys, let's get the Immortal. Let's heal up. We can even time that and make sure that we win with a full HP Immortal. They're playing it super safe right now. They should win this. And yes, there they are waiting. They're going to get that any moment. Zamani is waiting for the rest of the team to come back. And they will face a 5 versus 5, but this should definitely be it. If they don't win here, then they still have 2 lanes pushing against the opponent. So if they don't take it right now, they still have a massive advantage. But I like the discipline to not go for core here right away. I feel there's a chance that it could have been defended with the heroes popping back up. And right now, they are going to the bot lane already. They're going through the bot lane, and we are looking at a situation in which you basically cannot make a right move anymore if you're in TeamLiquid side. The Immortal is already up at the top. It's going to start moving in. This one is so strong that the keep is definitely going to fall. And down here, this is going to be a backdoor attempt with the catapults. So now the Chickens, they have to play it smart. But already, backdoor attempt. That is... What? What the fuck is that? What? In which universe, like, if that isn't a perfect mosh pit, in which universe does that work? Like, there's the mosh pit, does it too, but, like, I mean, I guess it was an interesting idea. But, yeah, no. 2-0, the Chickens are going to take it. A bit of a desperation move by TeamLiquid at the end. I guess it could have worked, but we have a 2-0 victory as the Chickens qualify for Gamescom.